goes without saying because you've heard it 1,000 times, but apparently we're going to say it anyway. You have two ears and one mouth for a reason. There is a serious problem with people in the world today. Communication. See, most people think that them talking and dictating is communication when it's not. It's terrible these days. It is terrible. And I'm saying these days because I'm living in these days. I can't speak to days before me, right? But it is completely terrible. It is terrible. There's no listening, there's no understanding, which means there's no actual communication. Everybody is talking, right? Now, of course, I don't want to go into detailed examples, but I'm seeing it from many standpoints, right? In business and workplaces, I'm seeing it in relationships. It's just running rampant. There's no communication, there's no listening, there's no understanding, right? A lot of people are just talking. So, and I'm going to try to tiptoe around the details here, but so I was having a conversation with a friend, and they were telling me about some personal things, right? And again, I'm trying to tiptoe around the details, but they were telling me about some personal things, right? Getting some stuff off of their chest as they do, and someone who, let's say, has a lot of influence over their lives, they approach and make their presence known, of course. And this person is, asking what we were talking about, right? None of their business, but whatever. So, my friend tells this person, what we were talking about. And, they in a real fake, okay, I'm not gonna say that because I know it was fake, but it wasn't like blatantly fake. I just knew it was fake because I know this person. But in that moment, asked about it, asked about the subject that we were talking about, right? So my friend starts going into how it was going, right? And not long after, this influential person, let's call them, they just completely jump in and say, so a couple things, and then go into what it was that they actually cared about and what they needed to talk about, right? Zero listening whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying that this person had to, but why even ask? Why even ask? If you don't care, just don't care. I would much rather somebody just completely tell me, I don't care about that, I don't need to hear that, and don't even ask, than for them to ask me to pretend to care or give off the impression that they care, and then just completely dismiss everything that I just said, right? I would much rather you show me that you don't care. Just tell me that you don't care. Like, as a matter of fact, don't even, like I said, don't even ask. You know what I'm saying? Just go into what you need to talk about. That way we can move on from this conversation. I don't need you to make me feel like you care, because I know you don't. I know you don't. And that is okay. That is perfectly okay. You don't have to care. You don't have to care, right? From now, and that wasn't necessarily a relationship example, but from a relationship standpoint, right? You know, I'm not going to get into that. I can't talk about that without details. I can't. But the thing is, it's like nobody is listening. You know, nobody is paying attention to what people are telling them because they are so stuck on their own story, right? The story that you have in your head about the world, about the people around you, about yourself, about any particular situation. The story that you have in your head is you are so stuck on that story that you refuse to listen to anything else. You refuse to listen to anyone else because it doesn't fit your story, because you can't wait to get to your story. You can't wait to start talking. You can't wait to dictate that. You just completely dismiss everything that was just told to you. And it's, like I said, it is, I can't speak for times before me. I can't. I'm quite sure this was a problem before. But all I can do is speak on what I see now. And, you know, the communication amongst people, amongst humans, it's terrible. You know, it's terrible. Everybody, like I said, like everybody, they can't wait to speak. And even when they speak, they're not speaking about anything. You know, not talking about anything. You know, you're talking about you. You know, you're talking about you and what you care about. And you know, it's sad. It's sad, and we wonder why relationships don't work these days. You know, we wonder why. And again, like I said, I'm only speaking for my time, the time that I'm in. But we wonder why relationships don't work. We wonder why people leave situations, people leave jobs and whatnot, right? Because everybody's talking, you know, and nobody's listening. Or you got people, which is even worse, you got people pretending to listen. You know, everybody wants to be the center of attention. You know, not everybody is, you know, going to fit into your narrative. They're not, and that's okay. That is perfectly okay. And again, you don't have to listen to everybody else's story. You don't. But if you are in a position of influence, let's say, and whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in your family life, whether that's in your work life, you know, you run a company, you are the boss at a company, whatever the case may be, right? If you are in a position of influence with people, you know what I'm saying, influencing people, influencing human beings, you have influence over the people that you work with, that work under you. You are the head of the household or whatever the case may be, you know, and you refuse to listen to these people that, you know what I'm saying, that you have influence over, like, you're not going to have influence over them much longer. You know, you have influence because of your title, your position, because of who you are, whatever the case is, whatever the case may be. You know, you have influence because of those reasons, but you know, you're going to lose that influence. You know, you're going to lose that respect. You're going to lose that influence. You know, because you're not paying attention. And even if you have to release people from out of your life, right? you got to be able to listen and understand who this person is and decide, okay, this person is who they are. It does not match, it does not mesh with who I am and what my story is. Therefore, this person needs to be released out of my life, out of my environment, out of my vicinity, out of my company, whatever the case is, right? You have to make that decision, but you can't make that decision until you listen and pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, pay attention to, of course, what your standards are, and communicate your standards, and listen to the feedback people are giving you, about your standards. And if you decide to adjust, I wouldn't recommend necessarily adjusting your standards to fit anybody else's needs, but, maybe there's a way that your standards can be communicated in a better way. Like, hey, maybe you misunderstood what I needed here. This is what I actually need. I see what your strengths are, right? I still need this over here. Now that I know what your strengths are and what you are capable of and what your abilities are, then I'm going to, use your strengths to handle this over here in this way, right? And maybe I didn't communicate that properly, or maybe I just needed to know what your strengths are and who you are as a person and how you know what I'm saying, like how you can flourish, within these standards. But now that I know that, I'm going to move you over here, or I'm going to have you, handle this responsibility, right? Because I've listened and now I understand who you are, what your strengths are, now that I've listened and paid attention and used these more than I use this, and let using these dictate what comes out of this. You know what I'm saying? Now that I've done that, like, I see who you are, I see what you are capable of, I see what you are best at. I still need this done over here, but now that I know who you are, what you are capable of, like, now I know a different way you can get this done over here, because I still need this done. But I now I know, okay, this is the best way for you to do it. This is the best way for me to communicate, what I need done, right? And that is where listening comes from. If you know how to listen, what comes out of this is much more clear to people. It's that motherfucking simple. It's that goddamn simple. But don't nobody want to. Probably ain't even listening right now. Your stupid ass. But hopefully this helps somebody, man. Hopefully, if and I'm talking shit, I'm playing around, right? If you listening this far, you obviously know how to listen. And I'm referring to the people who don't know how to listen. You don't even know who you are because you ain't fucking listening. Anyway, again, I hope this helps somebody, man. But let me know, comment on this and let me know what your thoughts are on this subject. There's a lot of shit rattling in my head that I could say, but I'm not going to go there yet. Talk to you next time.